It's gonna be your hump day tonight. Happy Wednesday, everyone. So Kamala Harris will give her first major interview on Thursday, but not without bringing her running mate, Tim Walz. But we get it. As a former football coach, Walz will know when to take her out at the first sign of traumatic brain injury. Plus, Walz will be there in case she needs to use the ladies' room, and she'll be there in case he also needs to use the ladies' room. Meanwhile, according to a report, Kamala's team demanded she be allowed to sit during the presidential debate. But Trump has to be on a Peloton engulfed in a swarm of bees. But believe it or not, her team did request that she be allowed to have notes, which was denied, although she will be allowed to bring this. That's real. McDonald's is introducing its biggest burger ever called the Big Arch, and it's being rolled out first in Canada. If we leave now, we can be there in 8 hours, said one man.
He's a friend, man.
California Democrats are pushing a bill that would give illegal aliens up to $150,000 to buy homes.
Foreigners.
Oh. At this rate, we'll be mowing their lawns. Thank you. Thank you. The View is starting a new season next week, and it's promising a hot new studio, and we're pleased to show it to you here for the first time. Meanwhile, scientists are saying it's a mistake to take advice from the world's oldest people. Well, unless it's stock advice. Finally, a sexually frustrated dolphin is accused of rubbing its genitals on beachgoers near Tokyo, Japan. In other news, Jesse Waters has booked the next flight to Tokyo. So if you ever want to know if you're on the right side of things, take a look at the dolts on the other side. According to a recent report from USA Today, 238 Republican staffers signed a letter endorsing Kamala Harris. The letter claims that another Trump presidency would irreparably damage our beloved democracy. And although they disagree with the Dems, the alternative is simply untenable. The staffers worked for McCain, George W. Bush, Mitt Romney, meaning the same people who were also once deemed a threat to democracy by the Dems. How quickly the stupid forget. So how is it that 238 genuine conservatives are so offended they're fleeing the GOP to glom onto the most liberal presidential candidate of our lifetimes, a lady unburdened by the weight of brain cells? A woman so left, she's left reality. I mean, this is a crackpot who bailed out violent felons, wants to tax money you haven't made yet, while also demanding that you pay for inmate sex changes. If she got any nuttier, you could feed her to an elephant. But the answer, as ever, is one word: Trump, and it trumps everything. It's never policy because they never mention it. Instead, they prattle on about nebulous fears while catering to a party that imports killers and rapists because apparently ours aren't up to the job. And they wrote a similar letter in 2020. So how'd that work out? We know. It's like being circumcised with a spork for the past 4 years. We could go through the list of disasters from the border to Afghanistan, crime, inflation, not to mention the odd staffing decisions. So shouldn't these truth tellers at least admit their endorsement came at a cost? Or could it be it didn't cost them at all? They got a payoff, the media's strange new respect, invitations to cocktail parties previously off limits, a guest spot on CNN sniffing Jim Acosta's farts. And so after 4 years of left-wing lunacy, they went and did it again as if nothing happened in between. And you know it's not about policy. Hell, even Harris is stealing Trump's positions. Instead, it's that he refused to do it their way. So in a way, it's like suing the doctor who saved your life because he shaved your head to cut the tumor out. So now they're on the warpath like Liz Warren at a Columbus Day parade. You know, it's no question these Republicans took similar abuse from the left that Trump takes now. Every day, George W. Bush was called a war criminal. They deemed Romney a bigot, a cracker who'd put blacks back in chains. And there's McCain, who was loved by the media until he ran against Obama. Then he became the old reactionary bigot who'd bomb Iran and cause World War III. It's obvious these Republicans are more full of than a hotel toilet at an IBS convention. They're really just swamp rats terrified of the orange monster because he flipped the script. When Trump came along, nothing went according to plan. Republican or Democrat, there's an approved way of doing these things, approved pipelines to produce candidates. And Trump unclogged that pipeline with a fire hose filled with X-Lax. No wonder they act like they got their prostates punched by Mike Tyson. But remember, the Dems may be able to capture 238 drones, but Trump got a Tulsi and an RFK Jr., and that's a trade that I will take any day. Because those... Thank you. Because those two aren't just signing letters, they're putting themselves out there, offering ideas and discussing solutions. People who are, like Trump, willing to break the mold. So if you're truly radical, a rebel in the purest sense, how can you not do the same? You know, they sued Trump, they tried to arrest him, they tried to kill him, they changed laws and the ways we voted to prevent him from winning, they shamed, targeted, and hoaxed not just him, but also his supporters. What does that tell you? He's scary, scarier than a court-ordered orgy with The View. So this is the moment when you ask, do you want to join a petition of or a pirate ship full of scary people? The great thing about being on a pirate ship, you've already decided that you don't give a what people think. You're free, freer than those petition-signing pansies. Unlike them, you aren't desperate for acceptance. You are your own person. You don't need to belong. You just need to be honest, especially on November 5th. Tonight's guest. Every morning, coffee has a hot cup of her. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Cabano. He looks like the kind of guy who broke your uncle's legs over a gambling debt. Comedian Rich Voss. She's got a kid in her belly and her office is smelly. New York Times bestselling author and he keeps the actual Statue of Liberty on his dashboard. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NBA World Champion. Emily, are you ever influenced by petitions, by a group of people signing on to one cause to influence you to change your mind?
Never.
No.
Never. And no one is. And that's exactly the point, that all of these guys signed it because their currency was them signing it with each other. It's a really insular community there, and that ensured, to your point earlier, that they're still in the game. Whatever game it is, whatever organizations, committees, cocktail parties, invitations, the leak lines, you know, the trusted reporters, they clearly are coming to each other and say, hey, time for this again, or you're going to sign this, right? But at the end of the day, it was based on such fallacy. So the call to action, they said, was to conservative independents and those moderate Republicans that they claimed swayed the 2020 election. They went on to say that a Trump presidency, as you said, was untenable, right? But the whole point, the whole movement of conservatism, of any type of common sense or rationale, was everything that he stands for. So even if they don't like what he said about McCain or have certain issues with his personality, how can you claim with a straight face that limited government and secure borders and the rights for people to actually have their freedoms, the First Amendment, maybe not lawfare, maybe just simple economics, lower inflation, the value of your savings actually holding, the list goes on of things that America is actually untenable in is right now under Harris and Biden and the Democratic watch. So for them to try to gaslight Americans and say, no, all of these would be untenable, what planet are they on? The point is their own, and it's really tiny.
Well said. She has great points and also great arms.
Yes.
I don't know what to say to that.
I can say that on TV because that's not harassment. You know, Rich, if a group 200 people signed a letter that says, "We hate Rich Voss," would that influence or persuade you?
Well, it was probably the club I was working at that night. First of all, after your monologue and what she just said, I really realized how stupid I am. I'm going, wait a second, these people really prepare.
Rich, we don't expect you to prepare.
No, here's the thing, they do these polls, they don't talk, 200 former, they don't talk about the 300 that are on his side. They always, it's like, look, when I'm at a club and I'll go to the club and look, okay, so 90 people walked out, but those 10 that stayed, they really liked me. You see what I'm saying? Jesus.
Kat, if you wanted to, I bet you could find 200 people at Fox who would want to fire me or sign a petition to have me fired. And that would just be on the 18th floor.
I'm not going to say anything. I really don't understand this because it's just like you don't have to like either one of them guys.
Yeah.
If you don't want to vote for Trump, that's fine. I don't understand or if you don't want to vote for Kamala, you do want to vote for Kamala. Why do you need to endorse Kamala? You don't have to endorse Kamala. How could you endorse somebody if you're a capitalist, for example, just one of the things. If you're a capitalist, how could you say, yes, I'm putting my name on this? Just because, obviously, a lot of people think I'm crazy for this, but I just have an independent thought where I don't have to sign up for one side or the other, put my name on for one side or the other. And you will have people from both sides yelling at you if you do that. But I don't let people yelling at me about what not to do stop me from doing what I want to do because I'm not a baby in the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
One guy agrees with me. See?
Yes.
If I would have said, I get it. If I would have said something different,
back to his
if I
theory.
would have said something different, everybody would have clapped for me. And that's okay.
Don't blame
And
them, Kat.
No. Because it can be really tough to not have a side. It can be really tough to have, especially in an election year. Literally everybody hates you, and it can be tough. But that's the only reason why I can even fathom something like these people can't possibly actually support Kamala or their policies, or they don't really have principles at all.
All right. Tyrus, you see at this one hand, the media got all excited about this petition. And on the other side, you have RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. Wouldn't you be happier to have two kind of basically free-thinking, independent minds than 200 clones?
Well, yeah. Well, they're independent minds too, Greg. But here's the thing: there's no money for them with the Trump administration. They've been fired, moved on from. The party's shifted from them, so they're not getting $250,000 for speaking engagements anymore, and they're not able to show up influences and get get the little inside perks when they were in the thing and they had control. They don't. So what do? You go to the other side and you make a big deal about endorsing them for what? Hopefully, the other side will start asking you to do speaking events, and maybe there's a cabinet position for you, or maybe you could go out on the campaign trail. It's basically 200 people who ask for a job because there's no job for them with Trump. That's all this is about.
That's their LinkedIn.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yes, they're like that. You know, when you're walking down the city and you see a flyer on a telephone pole and it says, "We'll help you move," and you tear off a little thing and it turns out they come to your house and they abuse you. That's what these people are, right? They're like, they put it up there and it says, "Hey, we're not going to vote for Trump. Would you please hire me?"
Yep. That's all it is.
Interesting. Hey, Rich, where are you politically? I never.
Well, you know, where am I? Well, one thing I heard, and this is what I heard, so don't quote me on this.
Yes.
But Kamala used to go out with Montel Williams.
Yes.
I heard she gave him MS. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know.
Of all the things,
Well, hold on. Before you start
Rich
booing,
boss.
the loving was so good he got MS from it. She got my vote.
Where you want me to tell you?
Yes,
I'll tell you.
I now have to hear this whole story.
No, where I am politically, who's ever. Well, this is who I stand with here and here. Who's ever more on the side of Israel, who's ever going to help Israel or maybe stop the anti-Semitism in this country and move forward. I'm on that team.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Okay, I'm on that team.
There we go. I never saw that coming. Okay, up next, does Harris need notes to generate quotes?